The council chamber fell silent when Archivist Vex then activated the holographic display. 12 representatives from different species sat around the curved table, their various eyes and sensory organs fixed on the floating images. The Galactic Historical Preservation Society had been studying humanity for 3 standard cycles, and today marked the presentation of their most disturbing findings yet. Vexton, a tall being with pale blue skin and 4 arms, cleared his throat membrane before speaking. His species, the Kelthari, were known throughout the galaxy as the Keepers of Knowledge. They had cataloged the histories of over 10,000 civilizations, but nothing had prepared them for the humans. Distinguished members of the council, Vexton began, his voice carrying the weight of confusion and wonder. What I am about to share will challenge everything we understand about survival instincts and social bonding. Please prepare yourselves. The images shifted to show a planet covered in blue oceans and green land masses. Earth, the 3rd planet from a medium-sized yellow star in an unremarkable corner of the Milky Way galaxy, home to one of the most puzzling species the Kelthari had ever encountered. Approximately 12,000 of their orbital cycles ago, humans made first contact with a creature called the wolf. The hologram displayed a large predator with sharp teeth, powerful muscles, and eyes that gleamed with hunting intelligence. Please note the specifications. Average mass of 40 to 60 kilograms. Bite force capable of crushing bone. Pack hunting behavior with complex social hierarchies. In every measurable way, a perfect killing machine. Representative Gormak of the Bruthan Empire leaned forward. His rocky exterior shifted as he moved, pebbles clicking together. An apex predator. Dangerous. Our ancestors would have eliminated such threats or avoided their territories, as would any rational species, Vexton agreed. The Yelthi developed sonic weapons specifically to drive away their world's apex predators. The Crimson evolved camouflage to hide from theirs. The Bruthan, as Representative Gormak knows well, constructed underground fortresses to escape the surface hunters. The council members nodded in agreement. These were sensible responses to predatory threats. Evolution had taught every species the same lesson. When facing something with bigger teeth and sharper claws, you either destroy it or run away from it. Humans, Vexton continued, his voice dropping lower, did something else entirely. The hologram changed to show a human sitting beside a wolf. Not running, not fighting, sitting. The wolf's head rested on the human's leg, and the human's hand stroked the predator's fur with obvious affection. Silence gripped the chamber. Ambassador Sirith of the Luminari, beings made of living light, flickered with visible confusion. There must be some error in the archives. Perhaps the human is under some form of mind control? A parasitic relationship? That was our initial hypothesis as well, Vexton admitted. We spent 6 lunar cycles examining that possibility. The relationship is entirely voluntary, from both parties. Impossible, declared High Judge Morthax, an insectoid being whose compound eyes could not blink but somehow conveyed deep skepticism. No predator would willingly submit to prey species. No prey species would willingly approach a predator. This violates fundamental laws of nature. Vexton raised one of his 4 hands. With respect, High Judge, the archives are clear. Humans did not simply tame wolves. They transformed them. Over generations of selective breeding, they created entirely new variants. Smaller ones, larger ones, ones with flattened faces or elongated bodies, ones with curly fur or no fur at all. The hologram shifted again, showing dozens of different creatures. A tiny animal that could fit in a human palm. A massive beast that stood as tall as a human child. Something with wrinkled skin and a pushed-in face that made strange snorting sounds. Each one was labeled with terms like Chihuahua, Great Dane, and Bulldog. They call these creatures dogs, Vexton explained. They share more than 90% of their genetic material with the original wolves. But they have been fundamentally altered to serve human companionship needs. Companionship? Representative Gormak's voice rumbled like an earthquake. Not labor? Not food production? Not hunting assistance? Some were bred for specific tasks, yes. But our research indicates that the primary purpose, across all variants, was emotional bonding. Humans wanted creatures that would love them unconditionally. They engineered apex predators to provide affection. The council erupted into chaos. Beings shouted in their native languages, clicked, hummed, and flashed various colors of distress. The very concept seemed to break something in their understanding of how the universe worked. When order was restored, Vexton continued with even more troubling information. The wolves were not alone. Humans also domesticated cats. Another predator appeared on the display. Smaller than the wolf, but no less deadly in its original form. Retractable claws. Night vision. Ambush hunting techniques refined over millions of years of evolution. The interesting thing about cats, Vexton said, is that humans did not even fully domesticate them. The cats essentially domesticated themselves. They moved into human settlements, found the environment acceptable, and allowed humans to care for them. The humans were grateful for this arrangement. Grateful? Ambassador Sireth's light form shifted to confused yellow. The humans were grateful that a predator allowed itself to be fed and sheltered. Correct. Human historical records contain extensive documentation of humans celebrating their cats, building special furniture for them, purchasing elaborate toys, creating dietary plans tailored to feline preferences. In many cases, the cats treated humans with indifference or outright contempt, and humans responded by trying harder to earn feline approval. High Judge Morthax made a sound that translated roughly as a frustrated sigh. This species confuses me more with each revelation. Do they have no survival instincts at all? On the contrary, Vexton replied, humans have remarkable survival abilities. They can adapt to almost any environment. They heal from injuries that would kill most species. They can consume a wider variety of organic material than nearly any other carbon-based life form we have studied. Their survival instincts are exceptionally strong. Then why would they deliberately weaken those instincts by bringing predators into their living spaces? Vexton paused before answering. This was the question that had kept him processing for many cycles. Because they were lonely, the simple statement hung in the air. The council members looked at each other, trying to process this information. The human brain, Vexton continued, developed in social groups. They require emotional connections to maintain psychological health. Isolation causes them genuine physical pain. Their neurochemistry changes in the presence of companions. When they touch another living being with affection, their bodies release chemicals that promote happiness and well-being. So they could have bonded with each other, Representative Gormak suggested. Other humans? Why involve predators? They did bond with each other, extensively. Humans form complex social networks with family, friends, romantic partners, and community members. But this was not enough for them. They looked at creatures that could kill them and thought, that one. I want that one to be my friend. Vexton displayed more archives. Humans sleeping with dogs curled at their feet. Humans talking to cats as if the animals could understand every word. Humans risking their lives to save their animal companions from danger. Humans spending vast portions of their resources on medical care for aging pets. In one documented case, Vexton said, a human entered a burning structure to rescue a dog that was not even their own. They suffered severe injuries, but successfully saved the animal. When asked why they had risked death for a creature of no relation to them, the humans simply said, it was a dog. What else was I supposed to do? The council sat in stunned silence. There is more, Vexton said. Humans did not limit their domestication efforts to wolves and cats. They formed bonds with horses, creatures large enough to crush them. They kept birds, descendants of dinosaurs, in their homes. They raised pigs, highly intelligent omnivores with sharp teeth. They even maintained relationships with creatures that could offer no practical benefit whatsoever. fish that simply swam in glass containers, insects kept in special habitats, reptiles that required carefully controlled environmental conditions. What did they gain from fish? High Judge Morthax asked. Fish cannot provide affection. Fish have no capacity for emotional bonding. Humans found them relaxing to observe. The movement of fish apparently soothes the human nervous system. They kept fish purely for the pleasure of watching them swim. Ambassador Cerith's form cycled through several colors rapidly, an indication of extreme cognitive processing. You are telling us that humans formed emotional attachments to creatures across dozens of species, ranging from deadly predators to simple aquatic life forms for no practical purpose beyond emotional satisfaction? Correct, and they continue to do so. Modern human civilization includes billions of companion animals. The human-animal bond industry represents a significant portion of their global economy. They have developed specialized medical care for pets, insurance programs, hotels, restaurants, and even cemeteries. When a human's companion animal dies, they often experience grief comparable to losing a family member. Vex then paused to let this information settle before delivering his conclusion. Distinguished council members, we have studied many species throughout the galaxy. We have seen civilizations built on logic, on strength, on hive cooperation, on pure survival necessity. But humans are unique. They looked at the universe and decided that it was not enough to simply survive. They wanted companions on their journey through existence. And when suitable companions were not available, they created them. They took predators and transformed them into friends. They took solitary hunters and made them into family members. They opened their homes to creatures that by all rational analysis posed threats to their safety. And they did so because the alternative, being alone, was more frightening to them than teeth and claws. The final image displayed showed a human family. A mother, a father, 2 children. Around them sat 3 dogs of different sizes, 2 cats, a bird in a cage, and a fish tank in the corner. Every member of the family, human and animal, appeared content. This is humanity, Vexton concluded. A species so desperate for connection that they will befriend anything. A species so determined to love that they reshaped other life forms to love them back. A species that faced apex predators and thought not of destruction or escape, but of companionship. The council remained silent for a long time after the presentation ended. Each representative processed the information according to their own species' frameworks. Some found the humans foolish. Others found them admirable. All found them deeply, fundamentally strange. As the members eventually filed out of the chamber, High Judge Morthax paused beside Vexton. Archivist, one question remains. You have explained what humans did and why they did it. But you have not addressed a critical issue. What issue, High Judge? The predators agreed to this arrangement. The wolves, the cats, all of them. They had nothing to gain from loving humans in return. Yet they did. Why? Vexton considered the question carefully. Perhaps that is the most remarkable part of the story, High Judge. The humans did not simply domesticate predators. They convinced predators to love them. Whatever quality humans possess that drives them to seek connection, it appears to be contagious. The animals could not help but love them back. The High Judge clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. A species that can convince predators to become friends. I wonder what else they might convince to love them, given enough time. Vexton had no answer for that question. But as he powered down the archives and prepared to leave the chamber, he found himself thinking about the human family in that final image. About the trust in the dog's eyes. About the contentment in the cat's poses. About how utterly natural it all seemed. Perhaps the humans had discovered something that other species had missed in their desperate pursuit of survival. Perhaps connection mattered more than safety. Perhaps love was worth the risk of teeth and claws. The archivist made a note in his personal files. Further study required. And for the first time in his long career cataloging civilizations, He added a second note beneath the first. Consider getting a pet.